the last segment, actually. Another interesting aspect of Prince of the City, and kind of a parallel, interesting methodology that you see again, you know, in the story of Casino, right? Another Scorsese gangster picture. You know, what would be the similarity there? What you're seeing in Prince of the City is that these cops, in the case of these detectives, are basically many times go between wise guys, you know, from various families, to getting the information on a grand jury indictment or so forth, right? To see what the case is, to buy it, or sometimes to just buy the case. Just buy it, just buy the charges dropped, right? They're the go-between between them and the judge or DA or whoever, right, is on the take, okay? You're seeing that, and it was really slick, I thought. It was kind of hilarious how sharp these guys were. You know, on the cop side, right, sometimes they would know that the case could be weak, but the wise guy doesn't know that, and the charges are going to be dropped, right? There's not going to be an indictment. But the wise guys don't know it, so they sell the case, right? Hey, you know, these guys got, you know, they got you good, man, you know. You're going to have to buy your way out of it. It's going to cost you whatever, and then the charges are dropped, right? But they don't know that they were going to be dropped anyway, you know, which I thought was kind of funny. That was pretty slick. How does it relate to Casino? In Casino, it's just done instead of New York City. Now it's done on a much, much, much higher level. Higher up the food chain we're talking about, in this case, you know, Frank Balistrieri is one of the most important bosses, actually. In the Casino story, the first person everybody always talks about is Joey Aiuppa, head of the Chicago outfit, who's obviously important. He's the boss during most of this time that the story takes place. However, it's Balistrieri who put together the whole front to buy the Stardust, the Fremont, and the other two properties. I forget what they were. I think there were other casinos downtown. It was 4 casinos total. Balistrieri's 2 sons, I think it's Joe and John Balistrieri, I forget their names, but they went to Marquette Law School. They were both attorneys. They're the ones that discover or come across Alan Glick. Alan Glick is the Philip Green character, right? He's a squeaky clean front man. He's a San Diego, you know, real estate guy. Balistrieri's son set it up that he becomes the front man. That deal is put together in many ways by Balistrieri with the approval of the other guys who are basically controlling the money as well. Aiuppa, the Kansas City guys, Ciavello and DeLuna, etc., etc. Connects Balistrieri to another film, actually Donnie Brasco, if you recall. In Donnie Brasco, they're setting up this big sting. Pistone and these other bozos who are trying to lure in another mob boss. He's never mentioned. It's all off camera kind of thing. To this Trafficante Marcello, you know, thing with the boat down in Florida. Well, it turns out they're trying to lure Balistrieri. But Balistrieri knows that this is a sting operation. Somehow, he's able to find out what's going on, avoids it completely. That coincides with Balistrieri also somehow knowing, which a lot of people probably know by now or don't, but Frank Lefty Rosenthal is working for the feds. You know, he's turned state's evidence. That's why he was never arrested, you know, through any of this. Was untouched, essentially, because he's working for the feds. Well, yeah, it's really Balistrieri is the one who, his nickname was the Mad Bomber, okay? You know, and I ended up going to Marquette University around the time of the trial. And, you know, when this started, trial went on forever. I mean, it was going on forever. They were first indicted, I forget, I think in '83, and that's when the bombing occurred, right? They put the bomb under his car. I knew a couple of his soldiers, you know. I had a job at this place, Villa Rosa, Giovanni's Villa Rosa, which this guy Giovanni Safina was, you know, I mean, whatever. We don't have to go into too much detail, but just put it that way. I could have been having a drink with the guy who, you know, I was just a kid delivering pizzas, but whatever. But, you know, I was there when some of this was going on. There's no question that somehow, again, the two attorney sons, right, seem to have some ability to get to the Department of Justice, someone to find out key bits of information. And when you're skimming a casino, right, when you're taking in, you know, millions of dollars a month, you know, and skimming 4 casinos for who knows how much. I mean, now we're talking real money. It gives you a lot of money to play with, you know, buy your way out of certain things or find certain key bits of information. But now we're talking at a much higher level, not just city level. It's federal, you know. Now, this is not written in stone, but clearly there's something to that methodology that you see in Prince of the City, you see on a much bigger level, again, in casino. That's what makes, you know, the whole thing, I think, informative. You know, again, check it out.